When directors tell origin stories derived from comics, there's always a montage showing how the main character comes to develop their supersuit. That's because costume is central to any hero's identity, and how audiences connect with them. Costume designers face an uphill battle right from the start, as fans can be pretty vocal about what they expect. It can also be really hard to engineer an outfit that will withstand the realities of filming. Plus, whatever suit they decide on will forever be enshrined in the superhero lexicon, for better or for worse. No pressure. But one thing is understood, the costumes will not be comfortable. Every actor lucky enough to wear one knew exactly what they were getting themselves into, but did it anyway, because opportunities to be super don't come around every day. Here are 10 amazing actors who hated their superhero costumes. Ryan Reynolds, the Green Lantern. CGI is a beautiful thing. It makes new worlds spring to life and brings people back from the dead. But when executed poorly, it spoils the whole experience, regardless of who is in front of the camera. Case in point, Hal Jordan's suit from the 2011 flop, The Green Lantern. Computer generated from head to toe, fans lost their minds about how ridiculous it looked. But nobody hated the outfit more than the guy wearing it, Ryan Reynolds. Thankfully, it wasn't the actor's last time supersuiting up.
Crisp high five.
He came back to the big screen in Deadpool and takes a few jabs at his past work. The actor has also stated that he's thankful Deadpool wears a physical suit instead of a CG one. The kids he visits with the Make-A-Wish Foundation are far more excited to see a real costume than the alternative motion capture pajamas he wore for the Green Lantern. Margot Robbie, Suicide Squad. Fans are all eagerly awaiting the release of Suicide Squad later this summer. With killer teams both in front of the camera and behind it, the movie is sure to be a success. But for actress Margot Robbie, the journey has been a cold one. Playing Harley means wearing the clothes that fit with the iconic character's personality. And in this case, that means booty shorts, a baseball tee, and some bitchin' stilettos. The costume is quite striking, especially beside her heavily clothed castmates. But the actress is quick to remind people that there's a definitive line between where she ends and her character begins. One scene required her to be soaking wet, and when the crew broke for lunch, she ate a burger in her clingy, wet costume. If any of us were in her shoes, we'd feel self-conscious too. Jennifer Lawrence and Rebecca Romijn, the X-Men movies. Fans have been drawn to the X-Men franchise in part because of the diversity of characters. Each mutant manifests their power in a personalized way, and bringing those radical characters to life takes incredible dedication behind the scenes. These transformations aren't just hard on the makeup team, they take a toll on the actors too. Both Rebecca Romijn and Jennifer Lawrence have played Mystique, everyone's favorite shapeshifter, and one of the series' most visually stunning characters. The actresses were both covered in prosthetics and paint applied directly to their skin, in a process that usually took about 7 hours every day. After Lawrence had a medical reaction to the paint, they finally created a suit for her to wear instead. That cut her time in the makeup chair down to only 3 hours. If only Romijn could have been as lucky. Paul Bettany, Captain America: Civil War. According to Paul Bettany, spending 20 hours a day with rubber glued to your face is kind of an uncomfortable experience. As Vision, Bettany is decked out in a full suit from tip to toe, which had a tendency to get pretty warm. But what audiences can't see are the tubes underneath, pumping ice water around the actor's body to cool him off. A trick used for most of the heroes appearing in film, but that didn't help him in the nearly 4 hours each day it took to get into costume. A costume that, he says, he can rip off in under a minute at the end of the day. As for the rest of his day, the stunt team had 2 pieces of advice for him and co-star Chadwick Boseman to stay sane in their uncomfortable costumes: reading and meditation. And when it got really bad, Bettany says he reflected on how many actors would kill to be in his shoes, and his discomfort became replaced with gratitude. Andrew Garfield, The Amazing Spider-Man. With all the superhero movies being released these days, costume designers have been working overtime to take some of the most complicated designs from the page to the screen.
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
And as a result, they've become pretty innovative. A good costume makes it easy to forget that it's being worn by a real person, who has real bodily functions. And Andrew Garfield's first Spidey suit from The Amazing Spider-Man is a good example. While it was full of technology, the only way the actor could go to the bathroom was to take it off completely. No easy feat when the suit is engineered to be skin tight. Thankfully, the designers heard Garfield's feedback and added a zipper to the next generation of costumes. Nature's call wasn't the only obstacle in his way. Apparently, the mask was really hard to see out of. But since Spidey's mask and eye shape are basically his trademark, everyone agreed that low visibility was a price they were willing to pay in order to stay true to the character. Malin Ackerman, Watchmen. No matter how literal the adaptation, filmmakers take a risk when they decide to take a story from a graphic novel and turn it into a movie. Someone always gets hurt. But regardless of where you stand on Zack Snyder's Watchmen, you have to admit that the costumes are dead on. And while that made fans really happy, it was hard on Malin Ackerman. As Silk Spectre 2, Ackerman had to wiggle into a suit made out of latex, which he compared to wearing a rubber band. The actress had also said that Spectre's suit would magnify the temperature of whatever room she was in, making her either freeze or overheat depending on the conditions. Add a corset and heels to that equation and the result is a bad time. Ben Affleck, Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. When it came time for Christian Bale to pass the bat torch to Ben Affleck, he had one piece of advice: make sure you can piss in the suit. And as we heard earlier, that's a sentiment that Andrew Garfield would agree with. Going into the filming of Batman vs. Superman armed with that advice also led to co-star Henry Cavill's supersuit being modified to meet the new criteria as well. But that isn't the batsuit charged with cramping Affleck's style, it's the heavily armored alternate suit that's to blame. It looks unbelievably badass in the final cut of the film, but in reality, it was way less cool. The actor wore a baggy motion capture suit during these scenes, which helped engineers later manipulate the scene with CGI. And as it turns out, fighting in an ill-fitting pajamas against the Man of Steel can be a little embarrassing, especially if you're expected to brood at the same time. Ron Perlman, Hellboy. Ron Perlman has been in the business for a long time, but audiences will recognize him from his roles in shows like Sons of Anarchy or Hand of God. And we'll be seeing more of him in the upcoming Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. But one place they might not recognize him from is his work as the character Hellboy. And that's exactly the point. The makeup process was so extensive that by the time he was done in the trailer, only his eyelids were left exposed, with everything else either covered by prosthetics, foam, or several coats of red paint. The actor admits he grew tired of the process pretty quickly, but stuck it out because he loves the character. Hopes for a third installment have been swirling for years, many of them belonging to Perlman himself. But unfortunately, at this point, it doesn't seem very likely.
Oh, crap.
Chadwick Boseman, Captain America: Civil War. Audiences have been waiting a long time for Black Panther to show up on the big screen. So when it finally happened earlier this year in the super anticipated Captain America: Civil War, fans got excited. Brought to life by Chadwick Boseman, the character's suit keeps the actor completely contained within. And considering the movie was filmed over a pretty hot summer, it wasn't very comfortable. The outfit is made of many intricately detailed pieces, and Boseman admits he was pretty concerned over accidentally scratching any one of them and making more work for the costume department. But that's something he's gonna have to get over, and pretty quickly too, since a Black Panther solo film has been greenlit for a 2018 release. Plus, now that he's been introduced to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's no telling how many movies he'll show up in. Despite all this, Boseman has stated time and time again that he feels honored to be a part of the team. Olivia Munn, X-Men Apocalypse. Olivia Munn has been orbiting the comic scene for years, since her days hosting G4's Attack of the Show. And she's come a long way since, even landing herself the role of Psylocke in the latest X-Men movie. Munn's passion for the source material and her love of the character are what she would focus on every day, while both her and her costume were being covered in lubricant so it wouldn't rip. The character's look has come under attack recently for being too revealing, while others applaud its authenticity. The actress has mentioned the outfit was uncomfortable and ripped in some pretty awkward places, but for her the character's appeal lies in who she is, not what she wears. And besides, Psylocke didn't even choose that outfit, Apocalypse did. So what do you think of our list? Did we miss any actors who hated their superhero costumes? Tell us about them in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.